What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about a foundational truth that is incredibly relevant to every single man trying to see success in every aspect of their life. And that is the truth that it is all cringe until you make it. You might have heard this before. You know, it's usually used as something to basically say, hey, everybody is always going to have a problem with what you're doing. They're always going to ridicule you when you are working towards something until they see how successful your hard work actually becomes. And this is a very foundational principle that you really need to understand, okay? This is ultimately how losers criticize winners, okay? Because what they like to do is they like to make trying hard seem like it's not cool. The losers are the people who are too lazy to actually put any work in. How can they bring you ultimately down to their level? Well, they say, he's more disciplined than I am. He is more consistent than I am. He's stronger than I am. He is faster. He is better. I'm going to call him cringe, all right? I'm going to say, ultimately, you trying hard is pathetic, okay? You actually have to try hard. Dude, you're trying so hard. Oh my gosh. How can I bring that person down to my level? And this is ultimately cope from the loser's perspective. It's ultimately what represents a loser mentality. If you're somebody that has that, that's a huge problem. Okay, one of the biggest things that losers love to do is they love to sit on their keyboard and they like to type comments out. They like to say, oh, you're so dumb, you're so stupid. And they literally sit on their electronics and talk bad about other men in comment sections. Usually under some sort of alt account that's not even attached to their real name. Think of how much of a coward you have to be to do that. Think about how much of a loser you have to be to spend your extra time talking down on somebody else that is trying to pursue something. What I always tell people is that whenever I look out and I critique people, because Lord knows I definitely struggle when I see some people's content, when I see some people's business models, I say they aren't doing things the right way. I don't like how they're doing it, but I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to type out a comment. I'm not going to hate on them. What I have promised myself is that I am going to go out into the world and I am going to build something better. I am going to build a better business. I am going to make better content. I am going to help other people more than that person. What you can ultimately do, you have to understand, this is the difference between the mindset of a hater and the mindset of a creator. A hater sits back and judges from afar. A creator says, what is that person doing wrong? And instead of sitting here and critiquing them on it, how can I go out and create something that is going to have a better impact, a more positive impact on the world? Okay, so please keep that in mind. The difference between a hater and a creator. And now I'm going to go through all of the main points of how you should ultimately operate to deal with this fundamental principle. All right, number one. Don't care what people say and think about you. Now, what I'm not saying in this is that all of a sudden you shouldn't shower, you shouldn't take care of yourself, you shouldn't do your hair. All things that I've told you in other videos are incredibly necessary in order to be around other people, to be attractive to women. You still need to do these things. But you need to have your blinders on and focused on your mission. You need to be focused on your mission. You need to be working towards something. And ultimately, you can't let people critique you for having that specific goal. Okay, so when I say don't care about what people say and what people think, it's with regards to a goal that you are ultimately trying to achieve. If people are critiquing you for trying to get to that goal, if they are critiquing you for trying hard, for putting work in, you have to ignore them. That is ultimately what I'm talking about in this step right here. Now, having a goal, this is incredibly important. Having a mission, this is what's going to lead us into number two. You need to have clear-cut goals so that you know where you are headed. Because listen to me very closely. If you have weak goals, you have a weak foundation, and you will be easily thrown off course by losers, okay? If you don't know where you're headed, if you don't know exactly what you're trying to do, then when somebody critiques you and they say, oh, you're trying too hard. Oh, you look like a loser right now. When they say that, you kind of step back and you doubt yourself. And you say, is this cringe? Like, am I being a loser? And you start doubting yourself. No, what you say is does this ultimately help me move towards my goal? Does this help me become better? Does this move along my business? Does this help me achieve a better physique? Does this ultimately make me a better person, what I am doing right now? If so, I don't give a crap about what they think, okay? If you have weak goals, you will have a weak foundation. And now this is ultimately why it is so incredibly important to have an incredibly strong set values as a man. Like, you need to hold on to your values until blood drips from your hands. That's why they're called values, is because they're incredibly valuable, but it's difficult. It's difficult to hold on to these. It's very difficult to hold on to these. The world is going to test you. People are going to pull you this way and that. They're going to try to pull you off balance. So if you don't know exactly what you stand for, if you don't know where your lines are drawn in the sand, you're going to have a weak foundation. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to get anything done, and you are going to be at the sway of other people and what other people say and think about you. It's going to affect you so much more. You should constantly be cross-checking everything against your original goals, okay? So whenever you're doing something, and even if somebody's critiquing you, say, does this ultimately push me towards my mission? Does this help me work towards my original goal? If no, then don't do it. If yes, continue to do it. That ultimately tells you if you're headed down the right path, okay? Now, it's really, really important as a man to have a mission statement. I cannot tell you enough. I personally have a mission statement. It's about half a page long. And one day, maybe I'll read it to you guys, but it is very in-depth. And I have had that mission statement since I first started social media and since I first started my business, okay? Use this as your North Star. You really need to sit down and think, what exactly am I trying to achieve? What exact goals do I have? Write these goals down. Put them somewhere so that you can come back and reference them years later, all right? The people that are truly on a mission ultimately succeed. They don't stop. They don't quit. They win. The winners ultimately aren't thrown off course because they are on a mission. They are on a mission. They know what they need to do. And that's what so many people don't understand, is that a lot of quitters are just people that got thrown off course because they weren't fully committed to the mission. All right, number 3, you are going to disappoint a lot of people. This is something that you have to understand, okay? This is totally fine. It is totally fine to disappoint other people, all right? These are a couple different things that I did that upset other people, okay? I said, I am going to post on social media, all right? Friends and family disappointed by this. Brandon, why are you taking your shirt off on social media? Brandon, why are you stepping on a bodybuilding stage in a Speedo? Friends saying, dude, you posted that video? That video was super cringe. I saw it. And what's really, really painful, especially about social media today, you know, social media and business building, they're very, very intertwined. This is something that you have to understand, is that when you're putting yourself out there on social media, you're being vulnerable. It is difficult, okay? Because other people are going to be able to have a look into your life. They're going to be able to understand what's going on. They're going to be able to see the stories that you're telling and the hardship that you're going through. And then to have people tease you about that, about opening up, about showing yourself online, that is very difficult. Now, I've run into that problem multiple times before. It's very, very hard. So you constantly have to be reminding yourself, what is my mission? What am I working towards? That keeps you going in those turbulent times. Here's another thing that I said. I said, I am going to drop out of college. My parents were not happy about that. My mom was especially not happy about that. But I said, hey, I'm going to be disappointing people. That's going to be part of what I'm doing because I'm on a mission. This does not help me in my mission to go to school. I am going to drop out. I'm an adult. You're probably, if you're over 18 years old, you make decisions for yourself now. Your parents don't have a say in what you ultimately decide to do, and they shouldn't have a say. It is up to you to disappoint your parents. If you feel like what they are telling you to do goes against your mission, against your calling, you are going to disappoint people. Another thing, I am going to quit my job. That is something that I decided to do when I first started my business. Who was not happy about this? Well, my boss definitely wasn't happy. Brandon, I've trained you for so long. You know, you've been such a, we've paid you so well here. We have this and this. Like, please don't leave. We're going to have to fill your position. Oftentimes the boss is going to be pissed off. Who else is going to be pissed off when you decide to quit your job? Your girlfriend. Because she's going to see that you're going out and you're taking risks. And she's going to be scared. She's going to be scared. I have personally talked to tons of people whose girlfriends and whose wives even were the main reasons why they had been stuck in the same place for years. For years! People are held back because they're scared. Because they're scared about what their girlfriends or their wives are going to think about them. Fitness clients come to me and they say, oh, I got to talk to the wife first. And then they talk to the wife and the wife is furious. The wife is furious. No, you're not going to spend money on a fitness coach. Do you want to know why? Well, it's because the wife is out of shape. The wife doesn't want to see you get in better shape because then other girls are going to be more attracted to you. Now you have somebody that is a part of your life that is ultimately wanting you to fail. A lot of you guys have girlfriends that almost want to see you fail. You guys need to be aware of this. Because if you are trying to put yourself out there, if you feel like you have some sort of mission as a man, you have goals, and there is somebody in your life that is standing in between you and those goals, you need to reevaluate. You need to reevaluate. You need to sit those people down and say, hey, this is my goal. If you're not going to back me on this, I'm not sure if we should be together. This is how it works. Choose the people in your life very, very wisely, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you do succeed, the wife will be like, oh my gosh, congrats, I always believed in you. The parents will be like, oh, I always believed in you. It's so great to see what you're doing now. Your friends, oh, it's just so awesome. You know, now you have all these subscribers on YouTube. You know, I used to think you were cringe back when you had 300 subscribers. You know, I teased you about it, but once you see success, everybody says congrats. Be careful with who you surround yourself with. Number 4, when you work hard, you ultimately become a mirror that shows others their own laziness and their own failures when they look at you. And now the problem with this is that we live in a society where niceness is put on a pedestal. It's like no matter what, you need to be nice. But what I want you to understand is that it's not your fault when other people resent you because they look at you and you're so hardworking, you are so dedicated to your craft that they feel bad about themselves. That is not your fault, okay? They can either choose to become better or you will watch them self-destruct. And their self-destruction is not your concern. Okay? That is not your fault. You cannot save everyone from themselves. Most people are tied to a sinking ship that is their own view of themselves, their own view of the world, and there is nothing you can do to save them. Okay? Number 5, Do not show weakness. Do not show weakness at all. Be unapologetic about reaching your goals, because people are going to try to manipulate you. Trust me. Like I said, wives with fitness coaching, they feed their husbands more to try to get them to gain more weight so that their husbands are less valuable in the sexual marketplace. I mean, I've reacted to videos. I've reacted to TikToks about this where wives talk about, yeah, I feed him more because I'm trying to get him more fat so then he's unattractive to other women. So then he's not as much of a threat. Or I'm trying to feed him more because I'm overweight and I feel bad about it and I'm trying to get him on my level. Super, super common things in relationships. It's manipulation at the end of the day. All right? Into building a business. There was a guy that I was talking to. His wife was so opposed to the idea of him starting a business that he knew he wanted to do. And I had talked to this guy. I knew that he could be successful. But at the end of the day, he was so scared. He said that his wife might even leave him. He's like, dude, my wife might even leave me over this. Like, she's so pissed off. She's so incredibly pissed off that I'm even thinking about doing this, about pursuing my dreams. Be careful with who you have around you. You don't have to work out every single day. You can just take one day off. These are the types of things that people will say to you. And what I want you to understand is that it's totally fine to just say no. No, I am going to work out today. No, I am not going to take one day off. That's not what I do. I don't take days off. All right? Be unapologetic about it. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to be nice. All right? You don't need to be nice to other people. Be unapologetic about who you are and about the goals that you have. All right? Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, what I want you to take away from this video is that I want you to be more confrontational. I want you to practice being more confrontational. I want you to practice being more masculine, because this is all a part of the male dynamic that has been destroyed. It has been suppressed in our highly feminized society, okay? The rise of niceness. Everybody wants to be nice. Our society is feminized. You see it at play. You see the feminization at play in something like body positivity. You know, a girl posts a picture of herself. She's incredibly overweight. All the girls in the comment section are like, yes, queen. Yes, queen. You go, girl. Like, you got this. Love your body how it is. You watch men roast the crap out of each other. Men say like, dude, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. You need to get in shape. Men hold each other accountable better because they're more honest. They're more confrontational. They're more truthful. And you need to become more like this at the end of the day, especially if you want to be able to achieve your goals. Because at the end of the day, people are always going to make fun of you. They're always going to say you are cringe, but it's up to you to succeed. And your success ultimately depends on how well you are able to maintain the course. So make sure to drop a like on this video if you guys enjoyed. Drop a comment down below as well. Drop a thumbs up in the comment section if you're somebody that watched all the way through this video till the end. I like to see those thumbs up in the comment section. And make sure that you guys check down the links in the description. If you guys are interested in, number one, joining my fitness coaching, I have a free transformation guide and the coaching application available inside of the description down below if you want to work with me one-on-one in order to help you achieve your physique goals. And if you are somebody who is ultimately interested in becoming an online personal trainer or an online fitness coach, if you're somebody that has an incredible passion for fitness, please make sure to check out my free guide in the description down below where I break down how I built my six-figure fitness coaching business. There's a lot of value inside of the description. Make sure you guys check it out, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.